Hey guys, and welcome back to my booktube, Ash's Reads. If you are new here, welcome. Today we are going to be going through some of my favorite fantasy reads that is not written by Sarah J Maas. Not that I don't love Sarah J Maas. I mean, I'm wearing a Rune t-shirt right now. But I'm talking about books to read after you've finished Sarah J Maas's books, because I know the feeling you can get when you finish one of her series. It is like, who am I? Where am I? What do I do with myself now? I'm dying inside. So these are the books that I recommend to read after you've finished one of her series, or all of her series if you've like read all of them. These are the books that will hopefully get you out of a book slump, because I know they helped me and they gave me similar feelings, similar vibes, where I just was so hooked on these characters. I just didn't want the series to end. It's those kinds of vibes, you know? So let's dive in. So the first series I want to talk about is the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. I'm hoping you can see that. These are the hardcovers and the dust jackets. That's the word I'm looking for. Are very, very bright, but I kind of want to get new dust jackets to put on top of these, because I'm not a super big fan of glossy like dust jackets. Why can't I remember the word dust jackets? What is wrong with me today? But anyway, this is one of my favorite series at the moment. I just finished the 4th book. The 5th book isn't out, I think, till the end of the year, or near the end of the year. So I'm dying a little inside, and I'm just, it's really hard, okay? Now this follows the tale of King Midas, where everything he touches turns to gold, but it's actually our female main character who has the gold touch, and she is basically locked in a cage, and she doesn't realize how toxic her situation is until she's taken out of the situation and away from the man that she like adores and loves, which is King Midas. We have enemies to lovers, forced proximity, he trains her trope. There is spice, but I'd say none in this book. Book 2 is when things start to pick up again, and then book 3 and then book 4 is when it's like very very good spice. So it is a bit of a slow burn, you have to build up to it, but once you get there, it is so worth it. I do believe when I read the first book, it took me until I was probably already like 3/4 way through to really get hooked into the story. And then the last bit of the story is when I was like, holy damn, this is it. Like, when I finished this book, I was like, okay, I need book 2 right now. And I think I read this book and then the next book within the span of like 2 days. The 4th book I just finished, it took me a little bit to get through because it is so thick. That was a chunky book, but oh my gosh, this series, I absolutely adore it. The next series I want to talk about is the Zodiac Academy series, and if you have not heard of this, what rock have you been living under? Where have you been? Because it is everywhere, and it is so addicting, okay? Twin sisters get taken out of like our world and shoved into Solaria, which is like a magical version of our world, and they are said to be the lost heirs to the Solarian throne. But they can't just be given the throne, they have to go to Zodiac Academy and prove that they are fey enough to be accepted in like their society and learn to harness their powers. It is like every person has an elemental power, so earth, fire, air, water, and some people have more than one. These girls have more than one. And each person also has an order, so there could be dragons, you could be a siren, you could be a werewolf, you could be a Pegasus, and you don't get to figure out what they are till later on. It is a lovely surprise. This is very much a bully romance. If you do not like bully romances, I'm letting you know now, there's some ruthless shit in here, okay? Zodiac Academy is a very addictive series, and it will 100% get you out of a book slump because you'll just binge them all. Now this next one, I do not have the first book with me. I lent it to a friend, so I'm just going to show you the second book. I also don't own the 3rd book yet, but I've read the first 2 and I love them. The first one is called Furyborn by Claire Legrand. This series is like the series that got me out of the slump after reading, I think, Akota. How do I explain this? It's like a prophecy trope with 2 different female main characters two queens. One of the two main characters is the Sun Queen, one is the one that's gonna like end the world, and you don't know which one is which till like probably like the third book, but you have like an inkling every single time, but then as soon as you start to think, oh yep, it's this character, something happens, you're like, wait, maybe it's not. There's also like enemies to lovers, there's friends to lovers, there is betrayal, there is this beautiful found family. Our main characters are so badass. The elemental powers, the world building, everything in this series I absolutely adored. And if you have not read Furyborn yet and you want to start it, go. I loved it. It is not super explicit with spice. It is like it's more than Fade to Black, but not explicit, if you get what I mean. Probably like a 1 to 2 chili pepper. Now the next fantasy book I'm going to talk about is one that I finished recently, and oh my gosh, I need book 2 right now. It is Blood and Steel. I've been talking about this all over my social media, to be honest. Found family, enemies to lovers, he trains her. Female main character wants to be like this like warrior, and I love her. She's like a sword wielding badass FMC. A little bit of spice. It's a slow burn, so the spice doesn't pick up till like the end, but there's lots of tension building in between. Very much she isn't what she appears to be kind of thing. Prophecy trope. The male main character in this, imagine Cassian from Akota. Yeah. That's kind of the vibes I'm getting. And I love him so much. I just really love this book, and if you loved Akota or Throne of Glass, you will definitely want to try this one. The next series I want to talk about is the Dying God series, and this is the first book. It is called Drown the Sea. The cover is so beautiful. This is a time travel romance fantasy where she travels back in time by accident, by drowning, and she finds herself in the Bronze Age, like in the Minoan era before the eruption. We have a Waichu's polyamorous relationship. We have some MM scenes. We have like a bit of a slow burn romance depending on which guy we're talking about. The second book is very much enemies to lovers. I really love these books. It is like he trains her, prophecy trope, gods and goddesses, just so much deliciousness. The spice is really good too. I was sent these books by the beautiful author, and I'm just absolutely hooked. The next series I want to talk about is the Bonset Thai series by J. Bree. This is a paranormal romance, enemies to lovers, bully romance, reverse harem, so much deliciousness. Like you'll want to binge all of these so fast. If you have read Zodiac Academy, you'll definitely like these, and if you have read these, you'll definitely like Zodiac Academy. Similar kind of vibes, except there's only like one FMC in this book, but I love her. The guys, I hated some of the guys in this book, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm like, how is this person gonna redeem himself? Because he's a dick. But it's so good. I binged this one in like a day again. I couldn't stop. The spice picks up gradually as you go through the series as well. Griffin, I have not finished the series, but I know he will be my favorite by the end. I just know this. So if you want a very bingeable paranormal romance series, go. Now the next one I'm going to be talking about, I don't own the first book because I listened to it on Audible. I need to buy it, but then I ended up loving it so much that I bought the second book, and I just haven't gotten around to buying the first book. But the one I'm going to be talking about is the Bridge Kingdom series. I own The Traitor Queen, and I've also listened to the audiobook of The Inadequate Heir, which is the third book, but it's not about these characters, it is about her brother and the enemy kingdom. So it was so good. Okay. But the Bridge Kingdom is like arranged marriage, enemies to lovers, secret identity. She was raised as an assassin in the desert, and she is going into this marriage to form an alliance between their two kingdoms. Pretend that she is pliant and docile and is just wanting to form the alliance to like better the kingdom overall. But she's actually going there because her father wants her to uncover all the secrets of the Bridge Kingdom that he rules over. It is like this unimpenetrable fortress that no one has ever been able to take over. We have a badass, really intelligent FMC, like one that is like picture Selena from Throne of Glass, like kind of assassin. Aaron, our male main character, one of my favorite book boyfriends of all time. I love him so much. But Lara's like, I want to be Lara, okay? I just want to be her. And because I feel like people will ask, yes, there is spice, it's probably like around a like 2 to 3 chili pepper if you're going on that kind of scale. Very good. One of my favorite series of all time. I also bawled my eyes out in this book. I was so emotional. it was so painful. The 4th book is also coming out really soon, so if you like the sound of that, I would highly recommend The Bridge Kingdom. Again, which is one of my favorite series. I cannot stress enough how much I love these. Now, these are only the recommendations I have that I own in like the physical copy. I also have so many more that I've listened to on Audible and I've read on my Kindle. So if you would like those recommendations as well, let me know, because I can do a whole different video, because there are so many that I just absolutely adored. Now, if you guys do not follow me already on TikTok, my handle is Ashes Reads, and if you don't already follow me on Instagram, it is Ashes_Reads. I post majority of my stuff on there. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this, and I hope maybe I helped you find a new favorite fantasy read.